What's happening, YouTube? Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with a brand new PRLostGalaxy 2014 review. And today we're taking a look at Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Blue Senturion from Power Rangers Turbo. Yeah, so here's how I feel about this. I like the Blue Senturion. I mean, he's up there as my other favorite character from Turbo, following the Phantom Ranger. I mean, Phantom Ranger is actually more cooler than Blue Senturion, no offense though. And I mean, the Blue Senturion was not that bad. I mean, yeah, he could have worked as a certain plot device aside from setting up the Milennium Messager of what would yet to come for the next season. But he could have worked in terms of like Justin, the Blue Ranger, you know, something akin to that. For him being a robot, and you know, there's a lot of potential they could have did with Blue Senturion other than him being the robot cop ranger, RoboCop ranger from Turbo. And knowing Blue Senturion, I never had an action figure of him back when Turbo was on the air back in the day as a kid, and so him and Phantom Ranger do make up for it, because you know, when Power Rangers Turbo was on, I didn't have that many action figures for Turbo. I mean, the toys they had for it was fine. I mean, even though again, during the time of Zeo and Turbo, Saban's other product, Beetleborgs, was beating Power Rangers in the ratings and toy sales and stuff at the time. So it was no brainer that kids were flocking to Beetleborgs and just said, fuck Power Rangers at this point in the franchise's history. But everybody should know Power Rangers Turbo is notoriously the season that was the franchise's low point. And I know a lot of people don't like Turbo. That's fine. It's fine with me. But I'm kind of indifferent with Turbo. There's some things about Turbo I do like still. I do like, you know, characters again like the Phantom Ranger. I hate keep pulling them out. And Blue Senturion was not so bad either. I did like this Robo Racer Zord to a degree. And I did like the rest, you know, when it comes to the Zords for me with Turbo, the Rescue Megazord that they had, also courtesy of the Phantom Ranger. And I kind of did also liked TJ's team in the second half, and, you know, but yeah, Turbo was behind the scenes a shit show because of, you know, what they were trying to decide with the show, whether they wanted to do it serious, you know, a serious coming of age story, or embrace the goofy bizarreness of the Sentai that they took everything for Turbo from, and, you know, just roll with it. And I know Turbo is not everybody's cup of tea, and it's a season that people still hate regardless, but you still had some good stuff in Turbo, but people just love to see the bad of the show, Diva Talks, rather than the good, Phantom Ranger, TJ's team. So that's one of the reasons why Turbo is always widely regarded as the black sheep of the Zordon era, and if not the blackest of the black sheep of all the Power Rangers. But Hasbro, however, for the Lightning Collection, just hesitated to put out some Turbo related stuff. Now, when the Phantom Ranger, again, keep pulling them out, when the Phantom Ranger was announced in a wave that In Space Pink was in, yeah, so Phantom Ranger and Cassie were in the same wave, of course. They could have bothered give the Phantom Ranger the Turbo label, because knowing Phantom Ranger was actually from Turbo before making his way into In Space. But when Hasbro decided to label him as In Space Phantom Ranger, just because, yeah, Phantom Ranger has a more space astronaut-looking design to him, rather than the usual whacked-out race car aesthetic that that Turbo had. But knowing Phantom Ranger was a Turbo character, but also in space. But I've already pointed that out in my Phantom Ranger review. Go check it out. I've had the review of the Phantom Ranger back 3 years ago, and I know it's everybody's least. It was like the most least watched review I ever did at the time, 3 years ago. So Blue Senturion, I can understand, but why? Like, I like the figure though, but why put him in a box like this if it's just one figure? Just like, he's not like bundled with like his Robo Racer Zord or something, so why is he in a box like this? That's what threw me off with the packaging. And so he was one of many of the Lightning Collection figures I wanted to get in 2023, but again, due to a personal matter with me and Austin, couldn't get the figure. So in 2025, I got him. And so the Millennium Message has finally came to pass, even though it's 2 years late on my channel, and as a Power Rangers fan, obtaining a Blue Senturion figure in the collection. So, front of the package, plastic free and everything. Don't like it though. Should have put them in a regular small, you know, box similar to some of the plastic free Lightning figure boxes for some Rangers. You got the Power Rangers Turbo logo, and I do like how they had a hard print of the Turbo logo for this too, just like also with RPM and SPD, and among others. And then here's Blue Centurion's backside of the box featuring. So again, put him in a box like this when he just only has a lightning effect piece, his handgun, his sword, his signal sword, and what looks like the Robo Racer walkie-talkie thing that he used to summon his Zord. Yeah, I don't understand, folks. Like, why did Hasbro even put him in this box? He's not that big. I can see if the figure was like an 8-inch or 7-inch figure or something, but fine. But with that being said, shifting the turbo, summon Robo Racer, get him out of the box, and no pizza is an evil pizza is no match for a single stoplight, even for this review's sake. Okay, now that Blue Senturion is out of the package, but man, I mean, changing that hand, I had to change that balled fist on the right hand socket, and it was very tough. So yeah, speaking of, here's his interchangeable hands you can switch from, even though I already switched one in, so when he's wielding his gun, his blaster gun, and that was it. I don't know what these two pieces, these silver pieces right here, are for, because it feels like I already have these already attached already, unless this is like for the holster to switch out on, but I think I'll do that a little bit later. I'm not going to have the time for that. I don't know what this little small grenade accessory is. What is this supposed to be? Is this for like back in the Millennium Message, like a little messenger beacon thing, like in the show? I'm not quite sure on that piece either. Lightning effect piece is, well, this little, blaster, this blaster effect from his gun. So it has a mixture of some yellow, orange to that tint. So got that accessory piece. Then his morpher, his Robo Morpher thing that he uses to summon his Robo Racer Zord. So you got that, a little accessory piece, and well, that's fine on this one for this accessory, because he's loaded with a lot of accessories. Put him in a box like they did. He should have been in a much regular Lightning Collection box, plastic free or otherwise. Then you got his Robo Sword. You got his, it got all this good detail too. So not much, not anything flawed about his accessories so far that I need to know about. And, but that's all fine and good and all for this. Then on to Blue Senturion himself. But before, I also need to point out, so prior to filming this portion, if you should take note, his leg came off. Like, what the fuck, Hasbro? Like, come on, are you nuts? I mean, at least the left leg is still screwed in all the way prior, but why did you have to give me a Blue Senturion where the leg is going to, like, come out of the socket hole just like this? What the hell? Like, that was just dumb. Like, real dumb, literally. For all the times people say Turbo was a dumb season, still is pretty much. But man, did y'all have to do Blue Senturion dirty like that with a broken leg. As long as the figure's still in, but I just got to try to see if I can screw in his leg all the way. Nope. Still going to keep plopping out of that socket, that leg socket for the figure, and it just won't stay in. This is just like when I had that, Build-A-Figure Hydra Stomper thing for Marvel Legends earlier in the year, and how difficult it was trying to put the left arm in the socket for that one. Like, damn. Come on, man. I mean, Blue Senturion got a good figure, but again, broken leg and everything, it ain't screwed in all the way. They should have just paid attention to what they were doing. This is one of the few reasons why Hasbro had this. This is why fans complained about the failure of the QC quality control on several of their Power Ranger figures, and that's why the Lightning Collection stopped. But man, wait until when I get TJ as the Red Ranger later for Turbo. I just hope I don't get the same similar issues as this. I mean, when I got Phantom Ranger, I didn't had problems with him. But why with this figure, why give me the problems? Yeah, so you got him exactly like he was in the series, all glossy blue and everything, and he's a robot. I like the see-through police sirens on his shield shoulders, and just about everything, and just all the see-throughness, and try to be more authentic to how he looked in the show, with the blue, yellow, and red signal lights all over him, because hence why his Sentai counterpart is Signalman and Card Ranger, and because that's just what made Blue Senturion stand out. Because I've always had a thing for police-based type characters in media, especially in the media that was aimed toward me at the age that this came out at the time. And I wish I had a Blue Senturion action figure back in the day, but again, this makes up for it, as an adult. And again, Blue Senturion was basically Power Rangers as RoboCop before Robo Knight ever did in Megaforce. That's saying something. But yeah, but let's take a look at his articulation real quick and see how he stands with the Phantom Ranger, and then we're done. So his head turns around all the way, all the way, all the way, tilted up and down. Unless Shrink-a-Set wants to make him buzz and get crazy, as seen in Honey, I Shrunk the Rangers. His shoulder flaps kind of do raise up a little bit, and also his arms is a little loose, like, well, butterfly joints. Butterfly joints are barely there because also the the chest area is shielded and everything, so you're not going to do much. As for abdomen crunch is just like this, unfortunately. So you're not going to really crunch his abdomen all that very much. What about elbow crunch? Elbow crunch, you can just only crunch his arms as much as this because he's a robot. So you're not going to do as much. I mean, imagine if I did something like this for any of the Transformers later. And then elbow crunch on this arm as far as this, even with him wielding the gun. Now, I got to be careful with this leg because, since this leg for this is loose, damn it, Hasbro. And then just how wonky and his leg joints are for this figure. Like, come on. And after looking forward to owning a Blue Senturion figure, I'm just kind of disappointed in some places. Okay, what about knee crunch? Knee crunch is complicated, but, since he's a pinless jointed figure for Turbo, okay, so that's the leg crunch for this. But this leg is already broken, but let's see about the knee crunch. Okay, you know what? Let's see about this with the leg off. Nope, unfortunately, I don't think you can, because now his ankle pivots are good, though, and even though they're kind of loose, though. But yeah, what the hell, Hasbro, with a broken Blue Senturion with a broken leg? What the hell is that all about? And then put him down, and now let's take a look at how Blue Senturion stands with the Phantom Ranger. So, like, also as seen in Countdown to Destruction and Power Rangers in Space, Blue Senturion and Phantom Ranger were dealing with, who was it? The Machine Empire? Because I know for a fact in Countdown to Destruction, Traya Triforia as the Gold Ranger was dealing with Rita and Zed on one planet, and with a bunch of monsters surrounding beating the crap out of him. The Machine Empire was dealing with, I believe, Phantom Ranger and Blue Senturion. Yeah, if memory serves me, right back in Countdown to Destruction. And we know that the Alien Rangers was dealing with Divatox and her forces on another planet, in the Jungle Planet. Yeah, so wait until even when I get the Alien Ranger, speaking of, in the Lightning Collection. So yeah, here we go. Phantom Ranger and Blue Senturion, just like in Countdown to Destruction. Too bad they never actually, converse with each other during Turbo, probably due to budget and all of that, because, Blue Senturion and Phantom Ranger, they never knew each other prior to Countdown to Destruction, which I think is probably one of the few continuity plot hole errors that I have between Turbo and In Space. Like, unless the Blue Senturion did know Phantom Ranger, probably during the events of In Space off screen or something, of what was going to happen if a massive alien invasion took over the universe. That's probably one way how they knew each other, I guess. Let's put the Phantom Ranger away. Now, my last call on Blue Senturion. I like the figure, but I'm really disappointed, and the figure is a mixed bag. I don't hate the figure, but I'm just mixed on what Hasbro did in terms of the broken leg joint thing, which kind of pissed me off. But everything about Blue Senturion is still good, regardless. So even though we may have just this and Blue Senturion, the only Ranger we have for Turbo is TJ in red, and until I get TJ's red Turbo, that's pretty much it for now for Turbo in the Lightning Collection, unfortunately. So that really does painstaking for those who want to see Turbo in the collection really badly. We almost got everybody from the Zordon era. If we can get all of Mighty Morphin, all of Zeo, and all of In Space, and all of the Alien Rangers, Turbo is sadly the only Zordon era Power Rangers team Hasbro attempted but never finished, because they already know how notorious of a season Turbo is with the fandom. I understand. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.